A lot of moving parts today. Amen. Thank you, everyone, for being here, and for those of you who are online. I'm not Donnie. Donnie had surgery on his knee this week. Everything went well. He's going to have some more stuff to do on it going forward. But given that he had surgery, we given him the week off today. So I'm not Donnie. We do have a video, though, that we wanted to show you this morning, and it's a report from Guatemala. This is a mission work that we support. People that we know, we've met with, many from this congregation over the years have gone down to Guatemala to support that mission down there as well. And we asked them to record a video. We'd like to do this stuff live. It'd be cooler if we could do it live, but you know what? The technology gremlins, my heart's not good enough to try and do something like that live, all right? But we do have a video that they sent in to us a little bit ago that we've been kind of holding off to show, and we're going to do that this morning. So we'll watch this video from the folks in Guatemala about all the good work and stuff that they're doing down there. Hello there, everybody. Waterbury. Sorry we can't be there in person this year, but this is the next best thing. We love you all. Thank you so much for always helping us, always being there for us, and we look forward to the day when some of you are here in Guatemala, when we have the opportunity to come back there to Waterbury.
Also, I want to say thank you for all the prayers and support, and we are thinking of you too, and hopefully that we are doing well and healthy, and that congregation is managing this difficult situation. We're thankful that we were able to have a little more time this year with our boys at home in the midst of this difficult times, but at least that way we feel that it was useful to get closer to each other. So we wish we were there so we can spend time with you and talk to you and see how was your year and share our experience. But God willing, there will be opportunity to visit you maybe at the end of this year if it's a better situation.
Okay, and for those of you who may not know who we are, the first gentleman that you heard, our brother Hawalta Jones. My name is Byron Benitez. This is my wife, Snejana. And this is Jose. He's the oldest. And then this is Alex. And so we're very thankful for all of your blessings, your prayers, your encouragement, and we really hope that you enjoyed the presentation on the work here in Guatemala. God bless you. Take care.
God bless you. We love you.
Bless you. Hugs.
Hello again. This is Byron, and I'm going to be the one giving this report. And I will be able to give the details that you will be able to hear and see, so that you can get a better appreciation of how our year went last year, 2020. Well, let's get started. For those of you who may not know, we live in Guatemala, Central America, which is just south of Mexico, as you can see here on this map. We've been living here, Hawalta and I have been living here since 2000, so we celebrated last year 20 years. It's been a great blessing. And my wife and I, we got married 7 years ago, and we had the privilege of adopting our 2 boys 2 years ago. And so that's how our mission team has grown over the years. We want to begin by asking you for a couple of prayer requests. The first one you may remember. It's our sister Gail Carver in Tennessee, and her husband Mark and granddaughter Haley are pictured here with her. She was diagnosed with breast cancer a couple of years ago and had been through the chemo, the surgery, and then afterwards there was a wound that didn't heal where they did a surgery, and they had to go in and do a skin graft, and so it was having a hard time healing, and so they decided to do a skin graft. So we're thankful for that. Continue to keep her in your prayers. She's healing really well now. They were originally going to have to go in and do another kind of touch-up, but the doctor now thinks that's not necessary. So please keep her in your prayers. Also, please keep the Ramirez family in your prayers. Here you have pictured Aníbal and Damaris in the front with their 3 daughters, Dulce in the middle, Cynthia on the right, and Stephanie on the left. For those of you who don't know, when we moved to Guatemala, we started working with Aníbal. So we have over 20 years of knowing this good, faithful Christian. And this past July 13th, he went home to be with the Lord. 5 years he struggled with a liver disease, and eventually his body succumbed to it. But his faith never did. And so we're thankful that he remained faithful until the end. We still miss him tremendously. And so we continue to be a strong family, very protective of the ladies. So please keep them in your prayers. Here I'll show you again Damaris and the 3 girls. All of them are Christians. Stephanie was baptized. I had the privilege of baptizing her just recently, about a month ago. And the third request is for a study we're having. We have been able to have studies with the Barrera family. They are our neighbors. They invited us to a home Bible study. And Lily on the left-hand side just it's been this past Sunday was 1 week that she has been baptized. Her husband Adolfo in the middle there and her son on the right, Michael, they are still resisting the plan of salvation, especially since it was presented to them, unfortunately. So please keep them in your prayers, because we want to present the truth in love. We understand that the word has to do the work there, but it's tough sometimes when people don't react as the way you want them to react. Now let me share with you the highlights of last year. We had a WI teacher this year. Well, I say this year's last year, Brother Blaine. Brother Blaine was able to come last year to be with us, and we're so thankful because he's been coming for the last few years for 2, 3, or 4 week periods. And Terry, his wife, their picture right in front of him next to my wife, was able to join him. So this was really the last team that we were able to have before everything changed in March. And so this is our family here. We're thankful for Blaine and Terry, and we're hoping that they can come back again this year to continue the work of World English Institute, which I'll explain in just a moment. And then in March, of course, everything changed for you and everything changed for us. Actually, things changed a little sooner for you than for us, because the virus arrived here on March 13th. There was no case of any virus until that date. And we were scheduled to have a lot of things happening that same weekend. The next weekend, and unfortunately that all just had to be canceled. COVID-19 is what they're calling it. And so we have been affected tremendously. The country pretty much shut down since March, and of course, since we were really unaware of how it was going to affect us, or what the president and his administration, which has just taken office, what was going to do. Everybody went to shopping. It was terrible. Look at Walmart, the lines were out the door, and it's still, it was mandated from the very beginning that all of us had to wear masks, and so that's been a real nuisance, and it's getting old. It really is, but of course we have to abide by the rules unless we want to pay a $20,000 fine, is what they put on people. And also, having to apply gel and having to, social distance, the new terminology now. But we're doing the best we can. The church at Linda Vista had to adjust significantly. This was the picture the Sunday before the country closed. The country closed on the 16th of March. So this is the 15th of March, our last assembly together. Here we see one of our graduates, Hugo Feliciano, preaching his last sermon before the graduation, which was scheduled on the next weekend. So it was scheduled, the 19th and 20th The 20th, I guess, is the graduation, but the lectureship was in the 19th and 20th. So here are the rest of the graduates, 4 of them, and the church honored them that day. And so we were already aware that something was going to change, and so we met and we talked. Here's a men's meeting. This doesn't happen to be on that day, but we did discuss it with the church that things would be different, not to handshake and just try to go with the flow. They might tell us not to meet anymore at the church building. And so we said we would be communicating what we would do after that. And so what we started doing is we started meeting online. It didn't start out with Zoom meetings. We didn't like the idea of Facebook because we didn't like the idea of the lack of interaction. So we were looking for interaction. So most of the Christian men started leading their worship at home. So instead of having one location for the church, there were several locations, at least a dozen locations where the church started meeting, if not more. But then for those who were not able to meet, like the women who didn't have Christian men in their homes, or Christian men who didn't feel comfortable being able to lead the worship because of their lack of maturity or lack of time in the church, well, we decided to coordinate Zoom worship services. So we did that for quite a while. We started in April, and here are some of the ones in our Zoom meeting. And so we also had a couple of opportunities where we went to the supermarket and bought some groceries, put some packages together and passed them out to our members. And so we tried to be really in touch with our members to make sure that they were all okay during this time. And thankfully, they were. So here is our first Sunday meeting. We had to, when we came back finally in October, being able to meet at the church building, we had to do so in 3 different times. So this is the Sunday morning meeting. And then our meeting where we attend, the 10:30, the 8 a.m., I should say, the 8 a.m. meeting was a previous one. This is the 10:30 meeting where my family in Hiawatha, we attend. And then there's the 3 p.m. meeting, which here it's very empty because when it first started, there were only a few, but there have since been other Christians that have joined. And I think it's maybe as large as ours, or maybe as large as the morning, the 8 a.m. one, so it might be getting to be really, really large. So we're thankful. It's been quite, and thankfully they were. So here is our first Sunday meeting. We had to, when we came back finally in October, being able to meet at the church building, we had to do so in 3 different times. So this is the Sunday morning meeting. And then our meeting where we attend, the 10:30, the 8 a.m., I should say, the 8 a.m. meeting was a previous one. This is the 10:30 meeting where my family in Hiawatha, we attend. And then there's the 3 p.m. meeting, which here it's very empty because when it first started, there were only a few, but there have since been other Christians that have joined. And I think it's maybe as large as ours, or maybe as large as the morning, the 8 a.m. one, so it might be getting to be really, really large. So we're thankful that the congregation continues to be strong. In fact, before I move on to talk about us, what we didn't expect was the offering to improve, and it did, and that was a great blessing. And so it was good to see that the members reacted the way that they did. And so here we have a little bit of update on us, the Benitez family. For those of you who don't know, we had the blessing of adopting 2 beautiful boys, Jose and Alex. You saw them in the video as we presented ourselves. They were 4 years old and 6 years old. So the oldest one was 6, and the youngest was on the left there was 4. and they came on October the 12th, 2018. So we just celebrated 2 years of having them in our home. We have been going through quite an adjustment, all of us, but it's been quite a blessing. Look at the size of these little kids when we came into our home. And of course, they think the world of Uncle High there on the right. And of course, he thinks the world of them. But look at them now. Look at the difference in the way we have grown. They have grown. The little one there just reaching my belt, and he's way past my belt, and the other one growing too. So it's been quite a blessing to see them grow. And we also have had to adjust to the pandemic. Our schools were closed. The transportation was closed. Everything in this country was closed for a while. They put us on curfews. It was just so inconvenient and troublesome. But we got through it, thankfully. Our boys adjusted. We adjusted. Huatha adjusted. All of us adjusted. We had to close our school down, which I'll mention in just a little bit. This was the last meeting that we had with the social worker and the representative of the adoption agency right before the pandemic closed everything down. So they were able to come to see them. And then we had one more meeting online. And then after that, they said, you guys are done. You guys are doing great. Let's just close this whole adoption process out. And so we were so thankful. And so we celebrated our 2 years of having our boys with the nice cake that my wife made. Delicious. So very thankful for that. And we also celebrated having them in our home by buying them bicycles. And so here are their bicycles, and they're just so happy now. They love to use these things. And so here they are. As you can see, they started out with training wheels, but the older one quickly got rid of those. The younger one still doesn't feel that secure, so he still uses them, but they're all crooked and he really doesn't use them. That's just a little safety net he has. And so one of the blessings that we've seen is that they've taken a real good interest in the things of the Lord. And so Uncle Hawatha had a couple of pulpits made for them. And so in our family devotionals, they like to use these each day. And so please pray for these boys to be servants of the Lord. We want them to love the Lord and love ministry as much as we do. That's been our prayer, and that's what we're working to accomplish in their lives. All right. I wish I had more to report on the June mission team. We had a nice team that was supposed to come this past year from the Linda Road Church of Christ in Meridian, Idaho, but unfortunately, they and others who were going to join them were not able to come. So there's nothing there. As you well know, things were closed down in this country, and the same thing happened in July. We had a pretty good team scheduled in July, and again, there is nothing scheduled. But this year, God willing, we hope that you will make plans and mark your calendars for July 8th through the 17th. We hope to host our next mission team. And so please pass the word. And for those of you who may be interested, we'd love to have you here. And then we'd also like to host our World English Institute teams. The church there at Waterbury has been very involved with this. Of course, you had Anna Pride, who used to be a member there, who moved to Tennessee, and you've had several other members of the congregation who have been on World English Institute teams, and we're very thankful. In fact, we continue to keep the Martikainens in our prayers, and especially Toimi as he deals with his health situation. And so we're thankful for these teams that come and teach English using the Bible. And so I don't think I need to explain it to you because you're very familiar with it, but perhaps there are some members that may not be familiar with it. It's a program where you come and you teach the Bible using an English program. I'm sorry about that. Using the English books, you're trained to use these, and you have conversation with people. They have to have some level of English to be able to communicate with you, and oftentimes it leads to Bible study. And so this has been quite a blessing. We've had several conversions as a result. So hopefully we'll have teams that are going to come back. So we have team 1 that normally comes for 2 weeks, on July 24th through August 7th, and then team 2, August 7th through August 21. So we hope that you can come to be on our next World English Institute team. Hope that those of you who have come before will make plans to come again to Guatemala. We're looking forward to being able to do these things. And then this last section here, major section, is ITL. This is our Bible school that we started in 2008, and it has continued to move forward, thankfully. Of course, at the beginning of the year, we had our regular program. This is the full-time program, and one of our short course instructors there teaching. And here another short course instructor, Brother Ken Dottie, teaching as well. And so this was going well. This was right before graduation. And then these are some of our Saturday program students, and they were doing really well as well. But as you know, we had our lectureship scheduled, our 5th graduation, and our 20th anniversary celebration, all planned for March 19th to 23. And I've already told you we had to cancel all of those things. So it was quite a pity because, boy, we were expecting one of our, if not the largest turnout for this particular event. But it didn't work out that way. And so we're okay with that because we know that Lord continues to be in control. We had to scrap those plans. And so we didn't really know what was going to happen. Our students ended up having to stay our full-time students who live on campus. They had to stay on campus until the country was opened again. And that didn't happen until September. And so when we finally realized they were going to get to go home, we coordinated a virtual graduation. And so here, first time we ever did anything like that, and we had quite a turnout. It was wonderful to see all of these people attend, about 150 in attendance. And so we're very thankful that these graduates from the full-time program and from the Saturday program were able to celebrate this special day, even though it was quite delayed. And so from our full-time students, our brother Seferino finally was able to go home to Panama. So of course, what did he do? He packed up and flew away like a birdie. And our brother Hugo Feliciano from Peru, he did the same. I think I mentioned that Seferino's from Panama. I hope I didn't say Peru, but he's from Panama. And then our brother Hugo here, he's from Peru. All right, so he also flew away like a birdie. And here we have brother Jonathan Godinez, his wife Oneida, both graduates, and their son Kennedy. And Oneida's expecting, so please keep her in your prayers. They moved to a house here in Guatemala. They're from Guatemala, and he took a full-time secular job, and he's working with the local congregation not too far from where the school is located. And so this coming year, we had hoped, look, I forgot to change this. We had hoped that we would be able to do another lectureship, but things have just not worked out for us to be able to continue to do that. So we have had to be very flexible. But we continue to make plans to have a lectureship, although it may not be physically present. Please be listening to details because more than likely we're going to schedule a virtual lectureship, one that is online, and you'd be able to attend that. And so please let us know because we would have these lessons translated, and that's one option. The other option is we would just have a local lectureship for just Spanish-speaking brethren here in Guatemala, but we think that the first option, virtual option, is likely the one we'll do. So be listening for that, please. Unfortunately, March 18th to the 22nd is not really a realistic date. We're just not going to be able to do it with all of the restrictions and things still going on here and in the United States. We have 2 full-time programs still. We have 2 programs in our I'm so sorry, 2 studies of program here at ITL, the full-time program. And as you will see here, there's been a change. We used to have just 2 years of studying the Bible, intensive college level study, but we have now added 1 more year of technical training at an organization called INTECAP here. And we believe this will be a great blessing for our students. Where they will be able to stay for 1 year. It's an optional year and learn something like, how to be a barber or a beautician or carpentry or, anything that has to do with trade where they will be able to get a better job once they go back home. And so we want to do this for our students so that they can better defend themselves financially because the churches in Latin America are not able to support them. And so this is the reason we're doing this. We also continue with our Saturday program, but I guess that was in the previous one. I didn't mention it. Sorry about that. And so our program continues. And so we are about to start another full-time program. So please keep that in your prayers. We have about 13 to 15 students that are interested, but very few that have turned in their paperwork. And that is so common here in Latin America. It frustrates us, but we've been here 20 years. We should know better. Anyway, if we could get about half of those students, we'd have a great number, because we usually average between 4 and 6 students, which we would like to have 6 or 7 or 8. Of course, 10 is our maximum. We won't have more than 10, because that's our emphasis is quality over quantity. And so we believe if we begin to have too many students, we won't be able to give them the attention that we would like to give them in order to be able to mentor them and to be able to help them in their development in the classroom and out of the classroom. We're very thankful for many of the congregations, your congregation included, for all of the support for the Bible school. We continue to have Help Train Messengers ministry, where people can adopt students, and the students will communicate personally with their sponsors. And this has been a very popular program. We're thankful that people are interested in that. And if you'd like more information about that or are interested in participating in that, please let us know as we begin our next full-time program here. April 13th is the date, so keep that in mind. And then here we have Gerson Ruiz, our newest faculty member. He is one of our graduates and a very quality guy. Very sound, very evangelistic, a very centered, mature young man. And he's about to get married, so keep him in prayer. He gets married on the 1st of May, and he is our new staff member. He's going to be the director of development and one of our instructors. And so we have been meeting online for our staff meetings, and so we were thankful that we were able to include him shortly after he came on board with ITL. So keep him in your prayers. Also, last 2 years ago, we had our 6 Future Preachers Camp, November 3rd through the 10th. For those of you who may not be familiar, we just put a couple of pictures for you to see how our camps used to be before this pandemic. We would go to a campground. We'd have 35 to 45 young men, and then all of the staff members. And we would teach them for a week on what it means to be a minister of the gospel, how to share your faith, how to how to persevere in the church, how to develop Bible lessons, and how to preach and teach, and many other things. Our brother Lyndall Mitchell, he preaches for the Livingston Church of Christ. He was able to be with us for the whole week, and he gave several lessons to our young men. So we're so thankful that he has a great commitment to the church, to ministry, and to the work here in Guatemala. And so this year we were, I forgot about that. We also usually have baptisms as a result of our having all these young men for a week, and then we have a graduation. Obviously this year we were not able to have it at the camp. But we didn't want to go a year without having anything, so we decided to have our 7th annual Future Preachers Camp in the virtual manner. And so we had it 3 days, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And here, it turned out better than we expected, and we had some young men, not just from Guatemala, but also from Panama. So that was kind of a blessing. Not kind of, it was definitely a blessing. And as you can see there on the top, Lyndall Mitchell was back. And so all of us were able to be present. It turned out to be a really good opportunity to see these young men and to continue to show them how much we care about them. We try to present to them really good lessons. And so we use PowerPoint through the Zoom method, as I'm doing here. And so we thought that it went really, really well. Okay, and now let me tell you about the hurricanes Eta and Iota. Many of you heard how they swept through this country, and it was a terrible disaster here. There were thousands of people affected. We don't know if the congregation there got our email about that or not. We were soliciting funds for any of you who might want to help. So thankfully, we've had about $6,000 that have been donated towards people who have been affected. Some people lost everything inside their houses, their mattresses, their furniture, their clothes. You can see how they're cleaning their houses out. and it was just a terrible thing. And so we have 4 preachers in this area. One of them is our instructor, and 3 of them are graduates. And so what we did is we sent some funds originally for them to be able to put some food packages together, and they did that. And then once the rest of the funds came in, we sent them the rest of the funds just this week. So they're going to be going out again into the communities to be able to give out some food packages. They first gave attention to Christians, and so all the Christians are the first ones to receive some help, but they also extended the help to non-Christians. And so here in this picture, for example, we have on the right a Christian lady who lost everything, and so they bought her a mattress, and they bought her a couple of other things, gave her a place to stay for a little while. And then on the left, we have a lady and her daughters who knows the church, has been to the worship services, but is not a Christian, but she lost quite a bit as well, including her stove. She didn't have how to cook, so they bought her a stove that goes on top of the countertop stove. So she was very thankful for that, and that's Darvin there in the picture, one of our instructors presenting this to her. So this is what our efforts have been. So if you still like to give towards this effort, they'll be doing that in the next few weeks. So please let us know, and we'll be happy to pass those funds along. We have been entrusting the funds to these 4 preachers in that area, and they give reports and send pictures, and they're doing a really good job of making sure that people are getting the help that they need, although there's just really so much need that we really wouldn't be able to meet all of the needs. We had several restorations and additions to the family, and this is the last thing that I'll mention here quickly. Here you can see, if we focus in on this one picture on the left top corner, here Rosemary Cardona, she was restored this year. And then here on the bottom left corner, that young man there, get a little close up, Rodrigo Aguilar, was restored as well. And then Hector and Tiburcia Gue, they were baptized this year. Abigail, or Abigail, we say, Garcia, she was baptized at Linda Vista. And then up north, Brother Abner, one of our preachers, he presented this young man, Alex Cal, who was baptized as well in the river. They don't have a baptistry, they don't have a church building, so they go down to the river to baptize this young man. And there were other baptisms as well. Since then, we've also had a couple of deaths in our congregation, Christians that have been faithful, that passed away, not as a result of the virus, thankfully, but are no longer with us. And so here, as I close out this presentation, I just show you what we have done. We have had to go out with masks, but we've tried to make the most of it, the best of it. And there's a lot of work still to be done, and God still can use us and still works through us in spite of these circumstances. So let us commend ourselves to His grace and to His care, and continue to do the work that God has granted us to do. Thank you so much for your attention. We love you very much and are so thankful for your support. God bless you. If you have any questions, please just send us an email, communicate in any way that you would like. God bless you, brethren. Take care.
Just wanted to recognize that this is a